Hi there. Are you ready to take your quiz game to the next level? We'll explore the exciting world of interactive learning as we dive into the process of integrating APIs to dynamically fetch questions and create engaging quiz experience. This is the seventh project on the series of JavaScript API. We aim to post videos every week. Kindly subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. Don't miss out this opportunity to evaluate your quiz projects with the power of JavaScript and APIs. Let's have a quick demo right here. Here on the screen, we can see the quiz application with three set of rules. And below, we have a text box as username with start quiz button. Once we click this, it will ask the username to fill because the username is mandatory. Once we enter the username and will click start, it will automatically start the session of test and load the questions and answers as dynamic from an API. And here we can able to see the timer is running on the top. For each question, we'll have the 10 seconds. Once we click this, if it is correct, it will set the green color. If it is wrong, it will set the red color here. And in the top, the timer is stop and we cannot select the options again as we mentioned in the rules. Then user need to hit next and then we can see the new questions with multiple options. And again, I will select and then it will display the correct answers also here. Then I will hit next. I will hit the same. And if I hit next, if the timer ends, what will happen? The timer ends, we cannot select the option, all the options as disabled. Then we have a option to hit next. Right now we are in the 4 of 5 questions. Here we have a next button. Once we hit this, now we are 5 of 5 questions. Now we can able to see the button as submit. And I will select the answer and if I hit submit, boom, we'll get the quiz finished and allow Sarachandar K. This is what the username we have entered and my score is 0 out of 5. And here I can able to reset the quiz and I can go here and then what does CPU stands for, central processing unit, and then I will hit next. If I hit next and I will select the answer, I can submit. If I reset, we can get the questions as much as dynamic from an API. That's all for the demo. Before beginning this video, I would like to introduce myself as Sarachandar K. If you find this tutorial useful, please subscribe to our channel and watch this video to motivate me. Let's level up our tech game together. Here on my desktop, I have already created a project folder name called Dynamic Quiz App. Let me open this into a Visual Studio Code. So I will drag this directly into a Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code will automatically loads all the files inside it. Inside the directory, I have already created the index.html, style.css and script.js. In the index.html, I have already added the HTML boilerplate with the help of exclamation mark. And then I have changed the title to Dynamic Quiz App with API by Sharachandar K. And here I have linked other two files and then below I have added the font awesome CDN to use the icons. And then inside the body I am going to add the container with the help of embed abbreviation. So I will use dot container. If I hit enter, it will automatically created the div tag with a class attribute with the value of container. And then inside that I'm going to add the h2 tag with the project heading of quiz application. And then below we are going to add the three set of rules. First rule is you will be asked 5 questions one after another. Each question will be a time limit of 10 seconds. And then third question as you cannot select any options. One times goes off. Below to this I'm going to add one more div with the class value of button. Inside that I'm going to add the input tag with the type of text and then ID of username, placeholder of username. And below to this, I will add the break element and then next I will add the button with the class of start quiz with the value of start quiz. Let us see our HTML file in action. So for that in Visual Studio Code, we have a extension called Go Live. Once we click this in the status bar, it will automatically run our project into the default browser. So here we can able to see the h2 tag with a set of rule with input and then button also. So now we need to style this. So for that I need to jump to the style.css. Here we need to add the styles to the body. So I will use the element selector of body. With the help of this we can able to add the styles to the body element. I will set the background color to blue. I will set the min height to 100 VH. We need to set all the content into the center of the body. So I will use display flags, align items to be center, justify content to be center. If I save, if I go to the browser, we can able to see the background color as well as the content is placed into the center of the screen. Now I need to add the styles to the container with the help of class selector dot with the value of container. I will set the background color to white, padding inner spacing to be 2 rem. I will set the border radius to 5 px, margin outer spacing 1 rem, width of 500 px. Will set the box shadow to it with the help of RGBA color, red to 0, green to 0, blue to 0 and all for should be 0.35. We'll set the 0px, 5px and 15px direction of the shadows. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the container with box shadow. I will add the styles to the h2 here with dot container and then element selector of h2. Will set the text align to be center and then margin bottom to 1 rem. If I save, we can able to see this and then we'll set the styles to the next div with the help of class with dot button. We'll set the margin to 2 rem top and bottom and then right and left to 0. We'll set the text align to be center. If I save, now we can able to see this. I will set the styles to the input as well as the button with the help of btn as class with the element selector of input and then we'll add the comma with btn as class, button as a element selector. For this I will set the width of 50 percentage and then height of 45 px. Will set the border radius to 5 px. Will remove the outline with outline none. Will set the border to it with border 1px solid with black color and then padding inner spacing 10 px. Will set the font size to 16 px. Will set the margin outer spacing 5 px and then 0. Will set text transform to capitalize. So if I save, now we can able to see this. The text capitalize will set the first character as capital letter. If I type test and then test, so based on this, it will add the capitalize of text here. I will set the separate styles to the button with the help of btn dot. I will use this class as start quiz. I will set the cursor to pointer. Will set the color to white. Will set the background to same blue color. Will remove the border to none. Will set the same box shadow what we have used for the container. So I will go here, I will copy this box shadow from here, I will paste it to this button also. If I save, now we can able to see the box shadow style and then color to this. Here we have completed the first container. Once we click start, we'll get that playground of quiz application, right? So for that we need to add one more container here. So with same dot container, we'll mention this container as playground. We need to add one more div of quiz header. Inside that I will add one more div with span tag. So this will inform the user how many questions we have. Right now we are using only 5 questions. So we'll set this span tag of 1 of 5 questions. This first character will be changed based on the user selection. We'll add one more div here. Inside that I will add icon to this with I with the help of class font awesome solid fa stopwatch. The next element as pan tag. I will set the ID to this question timer, and then we'll set for 10 for this pan tag also. I will add the ID of question count. If I save, now we'll get the container next to this. We'll add one more div of quiz body. Inside the body, we need to display the question and answer, right? So for that, I will add h3 tag with the ID of question. If I hit enter, it will create h3 element and then ID, and then next with the UL tag of UL with the ID of quiz option. If I hit enter, it will create the UL tag ID of quiz option, and then we need to add the loader to this with the div of loader, and inside that I will add the I tag with the class of FA solid, and then FA gear, FA spin. This FA spin will help us to spin the icon to this. We'll add one more element of div with quiz footer, and here we'll have the button with the ID of next button, and then value of next. If I save, now we can able to see the questions timer and then loader with button also. Now we need to add the styles to this. So again I will jump to the style.css. I will add the styles to the quiz header first. So I will copy this, the class selector of header will set this into the center of the line with the help of display flags. We'll set the align items to be center, justify content to be space between, because we need to set the space between these two elements. I will add the margin bottom to 1 rem. If I save, now we can able to see the elements in a single liner, and then I will add the styles to the quiz body to it with the help of class selector. We'll set the padding top and bottom to 10 px, right and left to 0. Same thing for margin also. And then I will add the styles to the loader with text align to be center, and then margin to 5 rem. We'll set the font size to this with loader I font size of 55 px. If I save, now we can able to see this. Now we'll add the styles to the next button with the help of quiz footer. We'll set the text align to end. It will set this button into the end of the div, and then I will add the styles to that button with same quiz button with element selector of button. I will set the I to 35 px, width of 20 percentage, then cursor to pointer, color to white. We'll set the background color to same blue color with little dark. We'll set the border radius to 5 px. We'll remove the border with the help of border none. We'll remove the outline with the help of outline none. We'll set the font size to 15 px. If I save, now we can able to see the styles to here. So once we add this, then only this should be visible, right? So we need to add the functionalities to that. So before that, I need to hide this playground, right? So here I will add the styles to this playground with dot playground. I will set the display to none. If I save, now we can't able to see the playground here. Once user add the name and it start quiz, then only the playground should be visible, right? So for that we need to add the functionalities with the help of JavaScript. So for that I will jump to the script.js here. We need to declare the declaration. So for that first I will add the const username equal to document. Document object represent your web page. If you want to access any element in an HTML page, you always start with accessing the document object with dot get element by ID, because here in the input type we have used the ID. So I will copy the ID value, I will paste it here, and then I will add the console.log here to check what is this. If I save, if I go to the browser, insert element of console, here we can able to see the user input element. That is how the DOM tree will work. Here I have declared all other declarations what we are using in this current project. If you want, you can pause the video and you can write the declaration as your own. Then next thing, we need to add some global variables with let array questions equal to empty array, core equal to 0, and then we'll add the count equal to 10. Countdown is undefined for now. Once we click start quiz, we need to start the playground, right? So for that, I will create a function with the function keyword. Function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. The function name of start quiz. So inside that, as I said, this is a block of code. We can check that username dot value not equal to null. Then only we need to start the quiz, right? Else we need to show the error message to the user. So how we can show the error message? So we can show the error message with the border color change. So here with username dot style dot border equal to value of 2px solid and red color. If I save, if I go and click, nothing is happened because we have created the function, we have not yet initialized it. So I will jump to the index.html and I will add the on click event to that button of start quiz with initialization. If I save, if I refresh, if I type something, if I start, nothing will happen. This is empty. If I start, we'll get that red color border to that input box. So user can understood this is a mandatory field. Once user entered, what next? So we need to disable this and we need to enable the playground, right? So for that, we need to set this container as a start screen. So here this is a start screen. I will copy this class and I will paste it here. I will jump to the script.js start screen dot style dot display equal to none, and then we need to enable that playground, right? Playground dot style dot display equal to block. If I save, if I go on it, we'll get that border error with test. If I hit on start quiz, now we can able to see the playground with loader button. Great. So we have achieved this. Once we went there, we need to load the questions, right? How we can do that? With the help of JavaScript API. So for that, we'll create one more function with load questions. Inside that, we need to call that API call and we'll get that questions here where we get that questions. So for that, we have a OpenDB API. So here, this is the API document. We'll get that questions. So for here, we have a option to give the question size. For now, we are going to give the 5 because if you are giving more questions, it will take more time. So I will select the category as computer science and then any difficulty and then any type and then I will generate the API URL. So now we can able to see the URL is generated. I will copy and open it in the separate window and then I will add the pretty print. Here we can able to see the response with the result. This is the type and this is the question and this is the correct answer and then we have the incorrect answer also. So we need to combine that and we need to display the value. I will create one more let of quiz URL equal to what we have get from that combinations from that API document, and then inside that I will add the fetch of that quiz URL, then response. We need to get this as a response of JSON, response.json, one more then of data. So inside that this will return the data of JSON format. So I will do the console.log here. We'll check the data. Before that, we need to call this, right? So I will copy this and I will call this load question inside the start quiz. Once user enter the name, after we'll load the questions. So I will use test. If I start, if I go to the console.log, we'll get the object here. So as I said, the result of 5. If you want 10 questions, I will change the parameters to 10 and again I will refresh. If I start quiz, we'll get the response array of 10. So for now 5 is enough for us. So here we get that array of 5. Inside that we'll get the difficulty and questions. So with the help of this we need to hide this loader and we need to display the questions. For the first time the loader will be hide. I will use the same display none here. If I save, now the loader is gone. So here in the script.js, once the question loads, before that I will set the loader dot style dot display equal to block. Once the question loads, then we need to disable again. So here we have already created this array questions. We need to set this data to that array questions of array questions equal to data dot results, because inside the results we have that arrays, right? So I will use data dot results, and then once it's appended we need to display the questions. For that I will create one more function of display question. Will pass the parameter of question data, and then I will use this display question function, and I will pass that array function with question index. So we need to create one more let of question index here. So I will add question index equal to 0. The first time it is 0, so I will pass this inside this with array questions of 0. We'll get that first array of value. So I will do the console.log here to explain this of question data. If I save, if I give the name, if I hit start, now this is loading, and here we can see the first question. So how we can verify that? So I will go to the network tab. Here in the network tab, we have the results, and here we can able to see the questions. The first question is, in any programming language, what is the most common way? So I will go to the console. Here we can able to see the same question. So that is how the question index will work. So with the help of next, it will be easily do that +1 and get the next question here. Once we get the first question, we need to append that, right? For this, in that quiz question, we have already add the declaration of question dot inner HTML equal to question data dot question. This is what the question we have. If I save, if I add the username as test, if I hit next, we'll get the RAM stands for random access memory. This is what the question we have. Now we need to append the answers also, right? So for that, I will create one more function of load answers, and then I will pass the question data here. I will use this function above to pass the question data. We need to change the question's value also, right? So for that, question count dot inner HTML equal to question index +1. Because this question index is 0, then this will set to 1. I will set text. If I hit on start, now we can able to see the 1 of 5. If I hit next, it will be 2 of 5. That we can do shortly. Before that, we need to load the answers inside the quiz options, right? For that, I will set the quiz options inner HTML equal to null for all the time. We'll add the let declaration of answers equal to, we need to set this answers. How we can get that? So in the collection array, we have a two set of answers. One is correct answer and another one is incorrect answer. So we need to merge and we need to display here. So if I merge as incorrect answer in the intel 1, 2, 3, and then correct answer as fourth one, all the time the correct answer is fourth one. So user can directly come and they can select all the fourth one. It will be paused. So we need to shuffle this. So with the help of array with question data dot incorrect answer. So first I will get this incorrect answers, and then question data dot correct answer. So I will append all the arrays into the single arrays. So now if I do a console.log of answers, if I save, if I go to the browser, I will add test dot quiz. So now we can able to see the all four answers into the single array. So here, as I said, the correct answer is JavaScript. It was binded into the last one. So we need to shuffle this, and then we need to disable that loader also. So first I will copy this and I will disable the loader here of none. Everything is done. So now we have get all the answers into a single array. We need to swap the records with the help of answers equal to answers dot sort. We'll get the object equal to math dot random minus 0.5. This 0.5 will get the math dot random between the 4. Again, I will copy this console.log next to this answer. If I save, if I go to the browser, I will add test. If I start the quiz, Now we'll get the questions and the loader is gone, and here we can able to see the swap of answers. So the first question says the ink space is the correct answer. After swapping, this ink spaces went to the third place. This will swap based on the questions for many times using the math.random. After this, we'll add the for loop with the help of for each and then array of answers. We are inside that we are going to append the options, and then I will change the element to answer. Inside that, as I said, I will going to create the options with let options equal to document dot create element value of option, and then option dot inner text equal to answer. I will append this into that UL tag. So for that UL tag, we have a quiz option dot append answer. If I save, if I go to the browser, I will add the username. It will load it. Now we can able to see the options here appended to that UL. Inside the UL, we can able to see this. So here instead of option, we need to add as a LI because this is a UL tag, right? So here instead of answer, I need to add the option here. If I save, it will automatically refresh. I will add the username and I will start quiz. Now we'll get the value of LI here. We need to add the styles to this. In the style.css, first I will remove all the dots to the LIs. So with the help of quiz body, I will use the ID selector of quiz option with the help of hash. And then I will remove the list style type to none. If I save, it will go on here, and then I will add the padding top to 10 px. So we'll get the space between question and answers, and then I will add the styles to the each li with same quiz body hash of quiz options li. I will add the padding inner spacing to each li of 10 px, and then outer spacing of margin 10 px to top and bottom, right and left to 0. We'll set the cursor to pointer. We'll set the border to 1 px solid and then light gray color. Then we'll add the border radius to 5 px. If I save, we'll get the styles to there. Once we over, we need to add the border styles to this. So again, I will copy the same line. As I said, we are going to add the over to this li with the over of border 1 px solid green color. If I save, if I go on over, now we can able to see the border color to that option. Once we click this, we need to set the color to correct and then color to incorrect. So with the same quiz body and then quiz option of li will add the class of correct and then same thing dot incorrect. We need to add the styles to this. For the correct, we'll add the background color of green color. We'll add the color of green color. We'll change this to background to light green color. Border color to same green color. The same thing I will copy and I will add it for incorrect also. Then we'll change the color to this. Instead of green, we need to add the red color to that. I will change the color to red and I will copy this as well as the border color also. Once we click this, we need to check the correct answer as well as the background color too. For that, I will jump to the script.js. We need to add the add event listener to each li. So here option dot add event listener of click. With the help of this click, we need to check the answer. So for that, we'll create one more function of check answer. For this function, we need to pass different parameters. The first one is answer options because these are the options we are sent from here, and then we need to send all the answers. We need to send the correct answer to it. So with the help of these three parameters, we need to check and we need to set the background color to this. So I will copy this function name and I will call inside here. We have already having the answer options. with the help of these options, the answers to, and then we have the correct answer inside the question data dot correct answer. So here these three values we can check here with the help of console.log. I will check this answers, and then here this is correct answer. If I save, if I go to the browser, I will add the name as test. I will start the question and we'll get the question as well as the answer. Once we click this, we'll get the value here. So here we can see the li of false, what are the users selected, and then we have the answers with true or false with the correct answer as true. We need to check this. So for that I will create one more declaration of let with correct element, because this correct element need to be set the color right. And then we have the answers dot for each of answer. Inside this for each we need to check that if answer double equal to correct answer. If this is matches, we need to set this correct element from an entire UL tag. We need to find this. So here in that UL, we need to find that correct element and we need to set to this. So how we can do that? So for that, we have a quiz option of child nodes. Inside the array bracket of quiz options dot child nodes dot find, this is the array, and then we can find the elements inside that with li, and then li dot inner text triple equal to correct answer. If this matches, we'll get that correct element here. So I will copy this and I will do a console.log here to check if that correct element is getting or not. So I will add the test. I will go here inside the console. If I click on false, now we'll get the correct element is true. But we have selected this as false. So we need to set this as green color and we need to set this as red color. If I click on true, now the correct answer is true and then element also true, and only we need to set this as a green color, right, with the help of conditional operator. So before that we need to create one more function to check HTML decode. So sometimes we'll get the answer like HTML decodes value. We need to encode that. So I will create one more function with HTML decode, and then inside the function, we need to pass that HTML values with the parameter of HTML, and then I will create var txt equal to document dot create element of text area text dot inner HTML equal to HTML. Will return that text dot value. So here what this function will do, we'll pass the HTML value here. Sometimes we'll get the value of decode values from HTML tags. So this will appended to the li like HTML. But while checking the options, it will not match. So we have added this text area with create element, and then we are appending the values to this. Once we appended these values into the text area, it will automatically convert it to the readable text. We are getting the readable text from the return value of this HTML code. So we need to use this HTML code here. If HTML code answer, because these are the place we are checking, and then we need to use this also in the correct answer, and then here also we need to check with that correct answer. That's it. So based on this, it will check that element and it will be given the result. And once we click this, we need to disable all the li element, right? For that, quiz options dot child nodes, we have already used the child nodes. So if this is a for each, we'll get all the li's here. So console.log of eli, if I save, if I start, if I click, now we'll get all the li's here. So we need to disable all the li's. li dot class list dot add disable. If I save, test, and then start quiz, if I click, now if I go and insert this, it will add disable class to all the li's. So we need to add the styles to this dot disable. For this, we'll remove the pointer events to none. If I save, now we can't able to click that. Now we can't able to see the cursors. And once we refresh, if I add the test, we need to add the conditional statement to select values to here. So here if HTML decode will check the correct answer, triple equal to answers option dot inner text. We need to check as a inner text for this answer option dot class list dot add the class of correct, because this correct we have already added the class value here. And then if else we'll set that answer options dot class list dot add the class of incorrect. Once this is incorrect, we need to set the correct options also, right? So for that only we have captured this correct element here. The else port dot correct element dot class list dot add the class of correct. If I save, if I go and add the value of test, I will start the quiz. Now we'll get the question. If I click, now this is correct. So if I refresh, if I test, if I click this, whatever we have clicked that is incorrect, the correct answer also disabled, and we can't able to click other options. Now we need to work on next. Once the first question is finished and we need to click on next, this should be enabled to the next question, right? So that is very simple. So for that, we have added the ID here with next button dot add event listener of click with the function, and here we have already added the question index equal to question index plus 1. We'll call the function here same as this display questions. I will copy this, I will paste it here. What will happen? So here the first question is already 1, and then now here plus 1, this should be second, and then array questions we have a 5 set of array. This will add to second question, and then here the display function will taken care and it will load the questions as well as the answers. If I save, I will explore this, I will add the test, I will start the question. If I go to the console, we can able to see the first question here. I will select the option. Now I have selected the wrong one. This is the correct one. If I hit on next, you can able to see the question is simply changing. How simple is this, right? So previously we have a multi-type questions. Now we have Boolean questions. If I hit next, it will be changing. If I hit next, it will change. If I hit next, now we are in the question of 5 of 5. If I hit next, it will throw the error. Cannot read the property of undefined because now the question index is 6. In that question array, we have the array of 5. If this is 6, we can't able to read that. That is what this is saying. This question index is undefined. So we need to fix that. Till fifth question, this should be next, and then sixth question, this should be submit, and we need to show the results. So for that here, I will add the if condition to next button dot inner text double equal to next. Inside that, I will do this. If else, I will check one more function as show answer. This is what the result. So for this, I will create one more function of function show answer. And then as I said, if question index double equal to 4, then I need to change the inner text of next button should be submit. If I save, if I go and add the test, I will start the quiz. Now it is loading. See, now we have get that HTML directly here. So we need to sanitize this. So only we have used that HTML decode. So here in the load answers, here instead of inner text, I will set these things to inner HTML. If I save, if I add the test, I will do this. If I hit next, if I hit next, if I hit next. Now we are in the fourth question. If I hit next, this should be changed to submit. See how simple is this, right? If I submit, it will not throw any error in the console. Once it start, we need to start the timer. So for that, I will create one more const here of the timer const display timer. This is a function of arrow. For inside this, I have already added the countdown equal to set interval of function. Inside that, we need to set this for 1 second. We have already added the count, the value of 10. We need to reduce this. So I will use that minus minus, and then we need to change this also, right? So for that, question timer dot inner HTML equal to count. I need to call this display timer inside the load questions. After the load questions, we need to set the load answer. After the load answer, we need to start this. So I will save. If I add that test, if I start question, it's loading. Now we can able to see the timer here. How simple is this, right? Once it reaches 0, what will happen? So once it reaches 0, we can't able to select the answers. Once we select the answers, this should be stopped, right? So here inside the same display timer function, I will add if count double equal to 0, we need to clear the interval of countdown. Once it reaches 0, we need to disable all the LIs, right? So for that we have already done here. I will copy this quiz app.child nodes with disable of all the LIs. If I save, I will add the test. I will start the quiz. Now the timer is started. 8, 7. We can able to see the over here. Once it reaches 0, this is disabled and we can't click. Only we need to set to next and see it is 0 still. Now it is going the negative values. While clicking next, we need to reset there also. For that, I will copy this clear interval function. I will go to the display question here and then display question. I will set the count to 10 again because this should be resetted to 10, and then I will add the clear interval. Once we have selected the answer, that time also we need to stop this, right? Still it is running the display timer. Once the check answer is happened, we need to reset that countdown of clear interval also. So if I save, I will go and add the username as my name. I will start the quiz, the question 1 of 5, and then timer is started. I will click on answer. See, now this is stopped. If I hit on next, it is started from the 10. So I will hit on the answer. Now this is correct answer. It is stopped. If I go to next, so here there is a glitch. Once we click on next, so if it is 0, it is stopped and we can't able to select. If I hit next, it is starting from 9, so we need to add from that 10, right? So for that, question timer dot inner HTML equal to 10. If I save, I will add the username as Saraj Chandar and I will start the quiz, and here it is 10. I will select the value. Here it is stopped and here it is 8. If I hit next, see, now it is 10 and it is started freshly. I will select, it was stopped. If I next, it is 10. We can able to see the answers. If I submit, we need to do that, right? So for that, in the show answer, we need to create one more container. So after the playground, I will create one more container of end screen. Inside that, I will add the p tag as quiz finished, and then next p tag as your score, next p tag as hello, the username of fan. I will set the username here with result username. Inside that, it will set the username, and then next p tag as your score is again the span tag, because inside the span tag we are going to append the results with the class value of final score, the final score of 0 out of 5, because we have the 5 questions. If I save, now we can able to see the quiz finished, the end screen here. We need to add the styles to this. Here once it's happened, we need to reset. So for that, I will copy the same button element from the top and I will paste it here, and I will remove this to input. Instead of start, I will set these things to reset, and then here the same thing will start. This should be reset. If I save, now we can able to see this, and I need to add the style. So I will jump to the style.css. Here for the quiz button, we have already added this, so I will add the same styles with reset quiz. If I save, we can able to see this, and then I will add the styles to the each p tag dot end screen of p, text align to be center, margin bottom to 10 px. If I save, now we can able to see this. This end screen should be hide for the first time, right? So here we have already added the display none. We'll reuse this with the class end screen. If I save, it is not appending. So how we can calculate the score? So I will jump to the script.js here. We need to append the scores, right? For that, we have already created the score global variable. So here, once this correct, we are added this if condition here for the check answer. Inside the check answer, we'll set the score plus plus. Once it's correct, it will be plus plus, and then this should be resetted. This score should be displayed into the final result, right? So in the show answer, I will set the playground dot style dot display equal to none end screen dot style dot display equal to block. We have already added the final score dot inner HTML equal to score result username dot inner HTML equal to username dot value, and then we need to set the question count dot inner HTML equal to 1. This will reset and then will clear the interval of countdown and then count of 10. If I save, if I go to the browser, I will add the username as my name and I will start the quiz. The question is loading. I will select the value. Timer is stopped. I will hit on next. If any programming language, what is the most common way to iterate an array? This is an for loop. I will select next, and this is the HTML non-standard tag. This is for cool. I have selected the wrong one and I have selected. Now this is changed to submitted. If I submit, boom, we'll get the quiz finished. Hello Sarachan, there is an username. I have selected the score of only one correct answer. So if I reset quiz, so it is coming. So we need to disable that. Once we reset for the quiz, here we'll set the in screen dot style dot display equal to none. And then here this is still submit. We need to change that with the help of next button dot inner HTML equal to next. We need to set this quiz body dot style dot display equal to none for first time because we need to show the loader. After that only this quiz body we need to display. So here before the loader I will set quiz body dot style dot display equal to block. So if I refresh, I will type the name as my name and I will start the quiz. The loader is loading. We'll get the answers as well as the timer. I will select the answer. If I hit submit, now we'll get that allow search Chandar. Once we hit reset, it will be resetted and here this question index should be 1, right? So for that, I will reset this question index as well as the score. If I save, if I add my name as Sharat Chandar, okay, and then I will start the quiz. I will select the answers and then this is true. If I hit submit, we'll get the quiz finished, allow, and then score is 3 out of 5. If I reset, now we'll get the 1 of 5 question. The timer is started. The questions will be not repeated. It will be dynamically written from that API. So we can submit and we can reset and we can try our test many times as we can. Finally, we have completed this dynamic quiz application with API using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Please like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel Sarat Chandar K to watch more videos like this one. If you are interested JavaScript projects like this, I have created and added a playlist link in the description. Please do check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep coding and keep learning. See you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye for now. Have a nice day.